But let's get back to how this applies in Australia. The alleged perpetrator's motives, while they're yet to be established, it's highly possible or highly probable that he was offended by Rushdie's book, The Satanic Verses. Now, here in Australia, we have legislation against offending people. Again, this incident was probably initiated by someone being offended. Now, we have legislation against that. It's called Section 18C of the Racial Discrimination Act, which states, it is unlawful for a person to do an act otherwise than in private if the act is reasonably likely in all circumstances to offend, insult, humiliate or intimidate another person based on the race, colour or national or ethnic origin of that person. Now, Gideon, this legislation encourages people to be offended by stupid insults. Do you think it's wrong? Can we draw a link to the offence that this alleged perpetrator felt against Rushdie and the people we are encouraging to be offended under Section 18C of Australian legislation?
I think what it does is it confuses the issue, and in a way it equates the victim like Salman Rushdie with the person who felt offended and so on. I'm not saying that 18C allows people to go off and stab somebody else or anything like that, but what it does do is establish, as you said, that being offended is you have a right not to be offended, which of course in a liberal democracy should not and cannot realistically exist. The other thing, it shows the hypocrisy of a lot of these people who, for example, years ago when there was the Charlie Hebdo attack, I noticed there were a lot of people who changed their Facebook display pictures to Je suis Charlie, like that did anything, but that's the way the online social media game is played, of course. But I couldn't help but think, how many of those people would also be fierce proponents of 18C? Okay, so you don't have the right to go off and stab somebody or shoot them or whatever, but you do have the right to take them to court and ruin them bury them in legal fees. You do have the right to ruin their reputation by allowing every media outlet in this country to call, as they call Andrew Bolt, still to this day, a convicted racist, whatever the hell that means. You do allow somebody like Bill Leak, for example, to be hounded to his grave in the face of the ton of muck that was sent around him. We had the Racial Discrimination Commissioner soliciting complaints against a cartoon that Bill Leak drew. I mean, do these people hear what they are doing? Do they understand the scary lengths, the slippery slope that they are getting on here? When you have a government-appointed official on a large salary with enormous resources at his disposal, when you have somebody like that soliciting complaints with the force that could have the force of law against a cartoon, we are in very, very serious and troubled waters of freedom of expression. So no, look, 18C does not motivate attacks like occurred against Salman Rushdie. Nobody is offending, nobody is claiming otherwise. But what we do have to protect in this country and around the world is the right to engage in commentary that might, indeed in some cases, is designed to offend people, because that is the price of a free society. We either have all free speech or we have none of it. There is no such thing as picking and choosing.